She didn't even look at me when she said it. "I'm going on a date, don't wait up." The word date landed between us like a dropped glass that didn't shatter, just rolled, spinning, daring me to react. The kitchen light hummed. The clock clicked. I could hear my own pulse, steady, disciplined, trained over years of swallowing things that hurt. I smiled. Not the kind meant to reassure, the kind you wear when you finally stop pretending. "I was hoping you'd say that." Her face changed instantly. Not anger, not guilt, fear. A microsecond where the mask slipped. Her eyes searched mine, fast, calculating, like she was suddenly aware she'd stepped onto a floor she didn't recognize. I watched her carefully. I always did. Inside, something ancient and cold shifted into place. The quiet realization that this moment, this exact sentence, had already happened in my head a dozen times. I'd rehearsed it without knowing why. She laughed, too loud. "You're being weird." Maybe. Or maybe I'd just confirmed something I'd felt in my bones for months. She grabbed her coat. No kiss, no explanation, just the door closing with a softness that felt intentional, like she didn't want to wake whatever was standing behind my eyes. I stayed at the table long after her footsteps disappeared. Some men panic when the lie finally surfaces. Some beg, some rage. I didn't do any of that. I reached for my phone, and I started counting. Denial is loud. It argues. It invents excuses. I didn't have denial. I had silence. The kind that fills gaps you didn't know were there. Her late nights, the way she guarded her phone like it was a second spine, the sudden interest in clothes she never wore for me, the way intimacy became scheduled, mechanical, charitable. I replayed conversations backwards, stripping them for meaning. Every "you're imagining things," every sigh when I asked where she'd been. I remembered the first time her eyes didn't soften when I walked into a room. That's when it started. I told myself stories anyway, about stress, about phases, about how love changes shape over time. Men who want peace become very good liars, to themselves. But that night cracked something open. I was hoping you'd say that. I'd meant it. Not because I wanted her gone, but because I wanted the truth to stop hiding. I didn't follow her. That would have been emotional, sloppy. Instead, I opened our shared cloud account, then the phone bill, then the location history she forgot to turn off. Patterns emerged. Tuesdays, a hotel near her office. One number that appeared too often to be coincidence. I memorized it. Still, I said nothing. On the surface, I was the same husband, polite, attentive, predictable. Inside, something sharpened. I wasn't heartbroken yet. I was focused. Investigation is intimate. It forces you to touch things you loved with gloves on. I learned his name without trying. A colleague, married, 2 kids, a man who smiled too much in his profile picture. I watched her behavior shift as if she could feel the walls closing in. She became kinder, more careful. That almost hurt more. Guilt masquerading as affection is unmistakable once you know its shape. I scheduled a DNA test, not because I suspected the children weren't mine, but because I needed to know how far the lie went. I checked dates, messages deleted but not erased, receipts that didn't match alibis. At night, she slept easily, curled toward me, trusting my stillness. I stared at the ceiling. I wanted something cleaner. I wanted the truth to collapse under its own weight. So I waited. The results arrived on a Thursday morning. I read them once, then again, calmly, methodically. Everything confirmed. The affair, the duration, the precision of the deception. Even the children, mine. I set the papers neatly on the counter. When she came home, I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse. I just slid the folder toward her. "What is this?" she asked. "Read it." Her hands trembled. The color drained from her face line by line. When she looked up, she was already crying. "I can explain." No, I said softly. That was the only word I needed. I told her I had already spoken to his wife, not angrily, respectfully, woman to woman, through me. I told her the HR department had received an anonymous packet that morning, screenshots, dates, times. I told her the house was already sold. Her knees gave out. She begged, promised therapy, honesty, change. I listened, carefully, like a scientist observing a reaction he'd already predicted. I never loved him, she said. I know, I replied. You loved lying. That broke her. I left her there, surrounded by the wreckage of her own design. People think closure is loud. It isn't. It's quiet, administrative, final. I don't hate her. Hate requires investment. What I feel now is lighter, cleaner. She taught me something invaluable. Love doesn't die from betrayal. Illusion does. And once it's gone, you finally see clearly. I didn't lose my marriage that night. I escaped it.